Hello, hello, good people. Hello, welcome back to another episode of Make America Think Again with Shauna Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Please, first, let's do some housekeeping up front. Please like, share, and subscribe to the page. Please share the information with somebody that you think might want to follow the page and come over for political news and political information. I try my best to make sure to keep everybody updated and you get a little snippet of this and that that's been happening throughout the week. Down below, you can find the correct spelling of my name. You can find my IG information. My IG page is a good place to go if you just want to get a little hit of the news throughout the day and not necessarily watch a whole news program and you don't have time for that, then go to my IG page. Trust me, you'll see something there that you need to know. And then lastly, I have my Cash App here, 1111 Oracle. This morning, I woke up with a new burst of energy, and guess what? I realized it's Pisces season. It is Pisces season. So happy birthday to all my fellow Pisceans out there. Happy birthday to you. And if you all want to bless me for my birthday, bless me through my Cash App. Lucky, see that? I even had to get my lucky mug out. I was born on St. Patty's Day. So, all right, so let's move into the news. What happened this week? Number one, which this is some good news. This is some good news. So the Supreme Court ruled that the felons' tariffs are unconstitutional. Imagine that. Something that the felon has done that is unconstitutional. All right, so they ruled that is unconstitutional and that the tariffs are to be implemented by Congress as they always should have been. And let me tell you, the felon is madder than fish grease, has been madder than fish grease since yesterday. And this morning, he woke up and said 15% tariffs for everyone around the world, because I am mad. A mad man child. So listen, he did that on a Saturday morning, and I'm quite sure he will taco by Monday because the stock market cannot be impacted over the weekend. So this is why he's saying this on a Saturday. Trust me, he will change his tune by Monday. So we have seen that corporations have already started suing the government for all the money that they lost with these tariffs, and the governors of Illinois and California are suing the government as well. And they've made statements that it's time for you to pay up, felon, you and your administration to pay up for all the money that not only corporations had to pay because of these tariffs, but consumers, all of us, the American people. So Governor Pritzker put in his letter that he estimated about $1,700 is owed to every single household, which equates to about $8 billion to the state of Illinois. Governor Newsom posted something, but he didn't put a dollar amount to it. But hey, should we look for this check to happen? Should we look for this money to happen? I don't know. Because think about this. The felon said that you were going to get a rebate check from all the fraud, waste, and abuse that DOJ found. Remember that? Remember that? You're supposed to get a rebate check for that. Did you get that $2,000? Did anyone get that $2,000? I didn't think so. The felon also said that you were supposed to get, or they'd have enough money to send out a rebate checks to everyone because of all the oil, the money they'd be making off the oil out of Venezuela. This happened just a couple of months ago. Do y'all remember that? Did you receive a check? Anyone? Anyone receive a check? No, you didn't. Because shortly after that, the felon announced that he would be overseeing all the money that came from that Venezuelan oil. And guess what? Guess where that money goes? Into a personal offshore account for the felon. Yeah, you'll never see that money either. And then the tariff rebate. The tariffs, I forgot what he called the day. Wasn't called Freedom. Was it called Freedom Day? Whenever he made the announcement, I think it was last April. Did you receive any tariff checks thus far? Did you? I didn't. Did you? Okay. So if we haven't seen anything thus far, I would not hold my breath on this $1,700. I would not. This entire presidency, this entire administration is just one big scam. Think about also the PPP loans that went out to corporations. Now, corporations will probably get some money. They're going to have to spend months after months, months upon months in court, but they will probably get some money on top of the PPP loans that they received during COVID. And even though loan is in the title, they didn't have to pay back a dime of that money. And that's what's scary to happen. If anyone receives any money, it's the corporations. Why? Because the corporations keep the 1% wealthy. That's all they care about. So don't hold your breath on those rebate or refund checks from this tariff debacle by this administration. All right, moving right along. The perv, formerly known as Prince Andrew, was arrested this week. Now, he was not arrested, unfortunately, because of the Epstein file. Well, because of his preying on young girls that was noted in the Epstein files. He was arrested because of communication with Epstein that alluded to him sharing some sort of trade secrets with Epstein. That's why he was actually arrested this week. But any arrest is great. For any of these, the Epstein classes was involved in this sex trafficking ring, we'll take any arrest, right? So he was arrested, he was released, and now in the UK, they're trying to, I just thought of something. They're going to try to, or they're looking at whether or not they can completely remove him from the from any opportunity of getting to the crown, meaning any opportunity of him possibly potentially becoming king. They're looking at whether or not they should remove that. And I say yes. I say yes, UK, go for it. Do not repeat the mistakes that we have done here in the United States in putting a perv at the top and in control. Do not do that. UK, please do not. Okay, moving right along, South Korea president. The president, former president of South Korea, that last year, do you remember when he attempted to implement martial law? And the announcement was made late at night. I think it might have been the late night television programming. It came over the TV, and then people started sharing it on social media. People immediately took to the streets. They made sure that they got, their equivalent of Congress in to make sure that they, squash this whole martial law attempt that he was trying to do. That happened the same night. The people said, oh, hell no. And they took to the streets in the middle of the night and made sure that they took dude out of office. And well, so he got sentenced this week to life in prison with labor. They were pushing for the death penalty. He got life in prison with labor. And I just want to say, what the fuck, America? What the fuck? You have the UK can arrest a former prince. South Korea can give a former president life in prison with labor, but we can't even open investigations into anyone that's in that higher 1% upper echelon in the United States when we have documentation from survivor At the time, they were victims, victim after victim. We have in black and white, we have in pictures, we have in videos, but not one person has been indicted. Only one investigation has been open. Kudos to New Mexico because they're investigating Zorro Ranch. Remember, I talked about Zorro Ranch. Go back. I did an episode on Zorro Ranch, and now New Mexico is actually opening an investigation. So kudos to them. But what the hell? January 6th happened and nothing. You had all of these, I don't want to use a derogatory term, but you had all of these MAGA followers. No one at the top got touched. No one. You had people in Congress that were coordinating all of this stuff. You had people, the felon and his folks that paid for some of these people to come to DC and incite an insurrection. And here we are in 2026 with this dude in the Oval Office again. All right, moving right along. Did you know that we are potentially looking at a war with Iran? Did you know that? With the crazy news cycle, you might have missed this, but we are literally on the brink of war with Iran. And why, you ask? We don't know. We have not been given any information as to why. Congress hasn't been given any information as to why. The felon and his administration are saying they are coordinating with Israel again. And the problem is not necessarily with us, it's with Israel, it's with Bibi. And so again, we are looking at going, and this is coming from MAGA. I want to remind you that this individual that you put in office ran on no more wars. No more wars. He was going to end all these wars. He has not stopped one. Contrary to what he wants you to believe and the lies that he spreads every day, he has not stopped one. And now he's about to get us into another one because Israel wants a partner in this. And basically it boils down to, according to Israel, stopping nuclear programs and missile programs, and also a regime change that they want to see because they feel, I guess, uncomfortable in the Middle East with Iran. Listen, here's what I have to say to this. Number one, I want to say, I'm going to see if I can find some more information real quickly. Okay, so just so you know, because a lot of people have missed this, the state of play right now, more than 150 U.S. military cargo flights have moved weapons systems, and ammunition to the Middle East. Just in the past 24 hours, this comes from Axios, in the past 24 hours, another 50 fighter jets, F-35s, F-22s, and F-16s are headed to the region. So they are truly preparing to go to war. And let me say this, I would like to volunteer the icy folks because they like to drop out of Black Hawk helicopters and run around in the streets pretending that they're at war or playing Call of Duty with innocent civilians. I'd like to volunteer them to go first. Send them over to the Middle East to fight in Iran. And then secondly, MAGA, because you're the reason that we're here today, let your kids go first. Take your kids to go sign up for the military. You should volunteer. You should have them go enlist in the military today, stat, ASAP. Let them go and get involved in another nonsense war. Moving along. This Tuesday, the State of the Union Address will happen. Democrats in Congress are debating on whether or not they should boycott the State of Address. if Democrats in Congress, and I'm gonna take my progressives out because y'all doing the damn thing. But the majority of the moderate, middle of the road, corporate Dems don't have the balls to do this. Hakeem Jeffries is trying to talk them into going and then just being peaceful. Let's not have any paddles. Let's not say anything. Again, let's be the bigger person. Let's go high when they go low. Fuck that shit. Boycott the State of the Union. Not only should Dems boycott it, in my personal opinion, they should boycott it. They should have the families of Alex Preddy and Renee Good and the survivors give the response. I want them to shut the fuck up and let the survivors and the family members, let them speak. Let the American people speak who have been tormented by the Epstein class and by the icy folks in this administration. Let them speak to the American people. That would be ballsy, Dems. That's what you should do. But for everyone's knowledge, the Midas Touch is having an alternate programming or offering alternate programming on YouTube. And there are some Congress members who have said, not all, but some who have said that they will be skipping the State of the Union address. Some of them are going and they are taking some of these individuals that I just mentioned, some of the survivors, some of the people who have Americans who were detained temporarily by the icy folks, they are taking. So I think we should be on one page, one accord, one band, one sound, but apparently Democrats can't do that shit. But here's the big thing that I would love to see. I would love to see if you could deliver this, Dems. If you left that chamber, your side of the chamber empty, the felon would have a full meltdown. He would crash out. The narcissist in him would not be able to handle it, and it would all be caught on camera. Now, we at home, we should not watch it in real time because we don't want to give his ass any ratings. But as soon as it's over, pop your popcorn, get your favorite beverage, maybe even have a cocktail to celebrate, because I know his ass is going to crash out when he sees that side of the room empty. It will fuck with his head. And here's the thing, we need to start fucking with their heads like they fuck with ours every day. So I'm all for Dems completely skipping the State of the Union that is scheduled for Tuesday. Courage is the new charisma, Dems. Courage is the new charisma. Ask yourselves, do you have risk? Do you have risk? Do you have the balls to do this? Hakeem Jeffries, Chuckles, Chuck Schumer, sit your asses down. Stop getting in the way. Stop getting in the way. All right, last thing I want to talk about is this connection that came up this week in the Epstein files, that Epstein had apparently a connection over at Disney to where there's correspondence about going to Disney. There's a lot of correspondence about going to Disney. But his response to someone was basically, oh, that's no problem. I got to hook up with Disney. You got to hook up with Disney? Epstein? Disney. You need to come to the front of the congregation. There needs to be some conversations. We have now learned that not only did Epstein have a connection or main line to somebody in Disney, you just saw the Chuck E. Cheese CEO step down because he was in communication with Epstein. David McKillips is the name. Leon Black, who I did a whole episode about last week, he was connected with LifeTouch, started the company LifeTouch. LifeTouch, like I said, all those school pictures, all those kids in school pictures, Leon Black and his branch of the cabal had access to your child's pictures for however long, I don't know, because he started LifeTouch. Hell, I know my daughter took pictures in Life Touch. That was the school photographer. That was a school photographer everywhere, at least as far as I can remember back in Texas. Life Touch. Leon Black, part of this Epstein crime syndicate. Leon Black. Now back to the Disney point. Somebody else that I wanted to talk about this week, I might hold it because I need to get a little more information on his involvement. But from what I've seen thus far, Jess Staley, yes, Staley, who was with JP Morgan Chase for I think about 30 plus years, um, he liked to have little girls dress up like the Disney characters. Snow White specifically, we have seen in the Epstein files, and we've also seen in Maria Farmer's paintings. He also liked to torture young girls. Jess Staley. I'm going to do a whole episode on him because I know there's more. I need to do more digging. Les Wexner, we already know was involved, started the corporations, the Victoria's Secret you had, and that's how they got that whole channels of the models, but you also had the Limited, you had Abercrombie Fitch, and all these other companies that catered to kids. Justice, the clothing store Justice, Les Wexner, all these stores that in retail stores that cater to children and teens, Les Wexner. So all of that connected. And when I saw this comment about Epstein's connection to Disney, it sparked another conversation that I had. I'll tell you that story another day because I don't want this to be too long. But in a nutshell, this is one time I was on set. I worked with this one show for like 5 days, I believe. And, in 5 days, you start having conversations with everybody. So I was talking to this young guy that was on set as well. He was in his 20s. He was a model, actor. And we were having a conversation and he brought up this one weird modeling gig that he had where he was hired through Disney but the party was a private party at a very well-known celebrity couple's home. And the things that we have heard about Epstein, not that he didn't mention any small or young children, but he spoke about an expectation of the models that were there. And I'm going to leave it at that because I'm going to tell you all that whole story. I'm going to do a whole episode on Hollywood stories. So I want to hold that. But put a pin in that. But there was a connection to Disney with this dude as well. So, ooh, wee. All right. I will talk to you all soon.